Hey guys, Sabri Subi here, and welcome to today's module of quantum growth called Assessing the Terrain. And this module is really about just that. Assessing the battlefield in that we operate in, or that our offers are going to be out there competing for attention, and that we're going to be convincing prospects to part with their hard-earned money over the competition and come to us as a client. And this is an absolutely critical step in making sure that you're setting up an offer that's going to go out there and just crush the competition. And this is a step that I see far too many established businesses ever go through this exercise. Like going through and finding out, not just seeing a few of their websites and that's about it, or seeing what they're doing on the surface level and on the front end. I'm talking about understanding fully their business and their back end and how many salespeople that they have and everything, right? We want to really assess what's going on. So before we dive into exactly how to do that, let's just have a look at what we'll be covering in today's training. So we'll be starting off with 4D funnel hacking, then competitor offer mapping, X-ray competitive intelligence, buying the golden pheasant, exposing the enemy's foundation, and striking like lightning. All right, so let's dig in. So let's start with this quote by Sun Tzu from his book, The Art of War. If you know the enemy and you know yourself, you need not fear the result of 100 battles. If you know yourself but not the enemy, for every victory gained, you will also suffer a defeat. If you know neither the enemy nor yourself, you will succumb in every battle. So I don't care how good you think you are, how good you think your offer is, or you think that you're just the best person out in the marketplace. We are going to find out, because we are going to take a full-on four-dimensional scan of your marketplace and uncover just some gems of wisdom so we can really pump your offer up on steroids so nobody has a chance against you. And from the very get-go, from the offer creation, just before we even get into the actual business and all that stuff, we're already winning from the outset. And it's because we understand not only our prospect better than anybody else, we also understand the competitive battlefield and the landscape as well better than any of the players on the field. So 4D funnel hacking. So 4D funnel hacking is really having a look and seeing exactly what your competitors are doing, where they're getting their traffic from, and what pages that they're sending them to, and how much money are they, potentially spending on that traffic generation, and which are the traffic channels that are making up the largest amount of their customer base and their traffic flow and their leads, and all of the subsequent things that spill off those things. And really getting just that X-ray vision of what's going on in their business and how are they actually going out and getting customers. And you might be thinking, like, on God's green earth, how do you do that, Sabri? I really want to know how to do that. Well, I'm going to show you right now exactly how to do that. So basically, let's dive in. So first of all, let's go over to Google, and basically what we'll do is, this is where we're going to be putting all the information that we're gathering today, right? So this right here is the competitor offer mapping spreadsheet, and this essentially is, you can see on here, this is the stuff that we're going to be covering. We're going to be having three main competitors that we're going to be shopping, and we're going to be looking at obviously their business name and what are they using as their high value content offer, what is their primary call to action on their landing pages and on their website, what traffic channels are they running. We're going to be collecting the different URLs for all the landing pages that they've got. We're going to be looking at, did they have a guarantee? How do they add scarcity to their offer? What do they say their offer is worth? So what's their value positioning out there? Their bonuses, do they include any other freebies or bonuses along with their core offer? What do you get for their service that they provide? Like, what is it that you actually get? What is the price that their offer is situated at? What is their payment plan, if they have any? Do they split it up? Is it monthly? Is it all lump sum? Do they take a deposit? How does it work? We want to know all of these things, and you're going to understand exactly why in a moment. And then what is their position out there in the marketplace, right? Are they expensive? Are they volume? Are they going for high tier, niche services? We're going to find out all of this stuff, right? So the place that we're going to start with, though, is Google. And I always like to kind of switch it up and give a little bit of variety when I do these examples, so everyone from all different kinds of service-based businesses can see applications. So let's take a look, and we'll say that today that we're going to really be assessing the terrain in the financial planning space, right? So we'll type in financial planner. And let's just have a look at what we've got here. So the first listing, what we're going to do is, unfortunately, we're going to cost all these people some money. But this is just a part of the game. And we're going to start looking. So first of all, I'm always, you always kind of want to look at, what is the person that's bidding the most aggressively on paid search doing? What is it? Because they're obviously spending a lot of dough. And we want to click in and really dive into these guys first. Okay, so this is the landing page that they're arriving you on. Which could just be their homepage of their website. We will find out in a moment. All right, so let's see what we're really looking at here. Let's look at their headline, Manage Your Wealth. Okay, so these people obviously don't know anything about writing sales copy, which is good news for us. And then their subheadline is Financial Advice That Endures. This is their thing. All right, first resemblance of an offer here. Request a chat. Okay. Our approach to financial advice follows a proven methodology. We invest time to understand your unique needs, present a plan with a transparent fee structure, and continue to review its relevance over the long term. That's our commitment to you. Whether you're an individual, a business owner, not-for-profit, or an indigenous community, talk to us. Please fill in the form below or contact us on this phone number. Right? This is just absolutely what everybody does. And it's this, they're trying to cater to everybody. Look at this thing, right? Individuals, business owners, non-for-profit, and indigenous community members. Like they're really, really casting that net as far as they possibly can. And the reason for that is everybody always wants to appeal to everyone. And when you do that, you appeal to no one. But that's a lesson for a later training. Request a chat. So that's their offer. Got some video testimonials, which is good. And then our 5 steps to superior advice. All right, this is what they do. This is their process. This is okay. It's at least telling us kind of what's involved. And then a form and get in touch. Okay, so what am I getting in touch for? So I am getting in touch to take the first step. Please submit the form and a specialist advisor will contact you. 97% of perpetual private clients are happy with the quality of their financial advice. Perpetual Net Promoter Score survey research conducted by Walcott Research. Okay. So this is what they're doing. Now, the very first thing that we want to do when we're diving into exactly what's going on. So this is a very surface level stuff, right? You want to click on this link. All right, so this is just anchored to the bottom of the page. Nothing magical here. I'll close these other competitors for now and we'll come back to them in a moment, right? So let's take this person. So now what we want to do is we want to take their URL up here and we want to go to a website called semrush.com. Now there is, free services and there's paid services. Of course, for myself, I have the paid services and I suggest that you do the same as well. It's absolute peanuts. I think you can get a plan for $30 or $40 a month or something like that. And then basically what it does is you basically plug in your competitor's URL. And then what it does is it brings up all the data. Okay, so this has got on the United States. Let's make it to Australia. And it brings up all the data on this competitor. Like it shows us, okay, this client ranks, or this person ranks for 25,000 keywords organically, and they're bidding on 1.5 thousand keywords on Google Ads, which is what we saw here. They're position 1 up here. So they've got 1,500 keywords. And then what we can do is, so first of all, we'll have a look at the paid search side of things. So if you click on advertising research here on the left-hand side, now it's going to bring up their Google ads, okay? And it's going to show us here, we've got the timeline, and we can see, okay, well, they have been running ads in some way, shape, or form since 2012, right? So there's a lot of data in here, and then they ran it for a while, and then they stopped for a while, and then they've been running it consistently since 2015. So yeah, this is 5 years of solid data to really dig into. And then what it's showing us is these are all the keywords that they're bidding on. So perpetual being their brand name, but also a lot of other things as well. Super contribution, 2,900 searches. And then, so this is showing us the keyword, then this shows us the volume, and then this shows us what the average cost per click is in USD. So we obviously can convert that to AUD, for instance, for this one, and we go this USD to AUD. And we'll see, okay, so it's $10 and 44 cents a click. Okay, cool. Not cheap given the volume. And then also what it does is it allows us to see the historic position. And we can see that historically they've been position 2, they've been bidding position 2, but since December, they've gone up to position 1 and they're aggressively bidding for that keyword. So it's probably working, right, if that's the case. And then not only that, but then it also estimates how much traffic that they are getting based on the average click-through rate of an ad and how much search volume that they are. So you could just, and look, not all of these numbers are complete gospel, right? It's like anything. Everything's based off, like they've got their own system and their own algorithm where we're going to be cross-referencing this data, right? So say, for instance, this one, 136 clicks. You could just literally just go, cool, they've got 136 times the $10.44 per click. So they're spending $1,500 alone just on that one keyword, right? So that's a lot of dough, just for one keyword alone. But then what we can do is we can click here and we can go look at the landing page. Uh-oh, this is where they're sending their traffic. So there happens to be, for that ad, it's going to just a page not found for error. That is costing them a lot of money, right? And unfortunately, like all of these keywords here, same URL, all going to a not found page. So that's a lot of dough. If we click on this page, also not found. Okay, this one's working. They're sending this traffic to their homepage. Then we've got this, and we've got, that's the same one. Let's have a look at these. So they're running a lot of traffic to pages that don't even exist right now, which is just crazy. So they may have just updated their website and all the URL slugs have changed, and that's the reason why there's no pause. But what we do know is that there are currently pages, there's currently traffic going to these pages, and they're not showing anything. And unfortunately, this is something that you do see all the time, right? But you can see from here that they have these different pages set up that they're running traffic to. And what you can do is, typically when this does work and they're not sending them to a dud page, you can actually find out where that traffic's going. Or alternatively, maybe they've recently literally just changed their website now. So what you can do is click on this, do a Google search for that keyword, and then see if their ad, if you can find their ad. No, can't find it right now, probably because we've been cookied and we've already checked their domain name. Anyhow, I digress. You can see all the keywords that they're bidding on, right? And you can get an estimation here. You can even have a look at the last year. You can say, okay, look, it looks like in August their traffic spikes, they spend a bit more money. There's obviously something happening in August. It might be just after the end of the financial year that people are looking for a financial planner. So there's obviously some seasonality in here. Then we can see that this is estimating that on average that they're spending $16,000 a month on Google ads, right? Now, this number, in my opinion, is not accurate, but it's still a good benchmark and gives you some some idea basically of what's going on. But if you really want to get a real detailed understanding, you can export all of these keywords. So you can just select them all, export them, and then just basically work out and sum up all of the value of all these keywords that they're bidding on, and then just say on average that they get 2% of that traffic. On average click-through rate, is anywhere between 2 to 4% on an ad. So that will give you an idea, and then you can find out the average cost per click if you really want to find out. But for now, what we're doing is we're just trying to find out what are the keywords that they're bidding on, where are they getting traffic from, where are they sending that traffic to, and finding out what their offers look like, right? So this is the page that we arrived on before. So their primary call to action on this one is request to chat. So what we want to do is we want to get their name. I'm just going to copy it because I don't want to rewrite it out. And we want to put it in here. And I'll just put it in here for competitor one just so you've got it, right? So Perpetual is the name of this person, and this is basically what we're going to start doing now is we are going to work our way down the sheet and get an understanding of what's going on. So we know that their primary call to action is request a chat. So we're going to put that in there. What are they using as a high value content author? Nothing. They don't have anything that you can download or you can get off them without having to speak to somebody. Right? It's straight speak to a salesperson immediately and buy some shit. So then what we want to look at is next up, where are they getting traffic from? Okay, so we know that they're running Google ads because we've seen that and we've seen all these keywords, and we can just literally, the incredible thing about SEMrush is that you can just go bang, export, and just download all of these keywords, right? So they're bidding on, 31 keywords. The traffic that they're saying that they're getting is 1.5 thousand visits per month from that. And you can just download that and away you go, right? And then in addition to that, what you can also do is you can have a look at some of their other competitors, and this will give you ideas as well of other people and what they're spending. And it also shows you where they are mapped in the marketplace, like based on how much traffic that they're getting and how much keywords. And then these other people are going to be good people to have a look at as well and see, well, what are they doing and what are they spending and what's going on? And then again, you can get the full list here. Then what we can do as well is we can download every single ad that they're running, right? We can just come in here and go, cool, yep, give us these ads, and then away we go. We get all their ads. And they've got 31 different ads in here. And their ads are very dry and very boring, but we won't get into that right now. Right now, all we're doing is just trying to get a read and just trying to assess what's going on, right? So we get all this, we can download all their ads. Now we've got all their keywords and we've got all their ads. And then we can have a look at this, and we can have a look at how they've changed their ads over time, and if there's any common patterns or anything. Typically, you're not going to be looking at a whole lot of this, to be honest. And you can look at their pages and any subdomains that they've got set up. As I said, these are all like the landing pages that they're running. You can export all of their landing pages, and then you've got all their landing pages. And you typically want to just keep this on a folder in your computer under competitive research. And you want to be doing this like every quarter and finding out what the competitors are doing and seeing if anything changes in your market, right? You can check if they've got any other subdomains that they're running traffic to or anything like that. So then what we can also do is, once we go back to the domain overview, we can have a look at like how well are they going organically as well? How are they ranking, in the free listings? What keywords are they going for? All of that kind of stuff. So we can see that they rank for 6,600 different keywords, and the traffic that they generate from their organic traffic estimates that it would cost them $245K per year. Again, this number is not correct. It's obviously a lot larger. It will be a lot less than this, I should say. But again, it's good to go down here, have a look at those keywords, have a look at what's going on. You can say, well, what are the keywords that are driving most of the volume in this space? And they've got commercial real estate, they've got perpetual, got investing, Australian super, a whole bunch of stuff going on here. Financial, end of financial year, These are a whole bunch of different keywords, and you want to have a look through both of them just to get an understanding. I do like looking at the paid stuff more because you know that that's specifically, these are the keywords that they're willing to pay for. Then after we've done that, what we want to do is we want to go to another website called SimilarWeb. Now, this website is free. Again, there is a paid option, but you can get what you need more or less out of the free option. And basically, the only difference with SEMrush with a paid account and not paid account is that it's not going to give you every single keyword. They'll give you 10 or 15 keywords that they're bidding on. And if you want to get the full list, then you have to pay, or they'll give you a limited amount of searches. So a limited amount of competitors. Like, you're not allowed to do more than 5 searches per day under the free account. So look, I suggest definitely getting the paid, and at least doing a really deep dive across the board, or if you are really tight on money, you can get away on the free version as well. You will be able to get a lot of useful stuff. So SimilarWeb, basically you come across to SimilarWeb, which is just another website. We're going to put in their website and click on it. Now, what this does is it shows us a little bit of seasonality in terms of roughly what's going on. It also tells us and pulls data based on like how many employees that they have. And they, pull this data from a combination of LinkedIn and other different sites to get that. But this is estimating that these guys are getting 53,000 visits per month. So if we have a look back at what SEMrush said on the domain overview in terms of the amount of traffic that they get per month, you can see that it is going to be quite different in terms of the overall amount of traffic that they're getting. So this is saying that they get 1.5 thousand visitors, and then organic that they get 25,000 visitors from that. So if you're looking at those, we're still under 30K, where this says 53K. Again, there's none of these sites are absolutely perfect. They don't have direct access to your Google Analytics, so they can't tell you definitively. They use a combination of server loads and a whole bunch of different, multiple different data points to kind of ascertain that, but you can start to map out and get an understanding. Now, what you can see here is the average duration on their website is 2 minutes and 47 seconds. Pages per visit is 4. They have a 38% bounce rate. Now, 95% of their traffic comes from Australia, which is exactly what you would expect to see from a financial planning service that is operating in a geography, right? Then you can get the full list of countries if you want. That's not really super important. This is what's really interesting. Traffic sources. So what you can see here is that the majority of their traffic is coming from Facebook, is coming from Google, right? It's coming from search. And, we saw the amount of traffic that they were getting from their paid ads and also from their free ads. And it's just interesting to see. And then you can see direct, they get a lot of search traffic direct to their brand name, or people coming through to their website that have bookmarked it. That might be from a percentage of clients or whatnot. Doesn't look like they do a whole lot of email marketing or Facebook marketing, because only 1% of the traffic is coming from social. 0.13% is coming from email. Some basic retargeting, 0.45%. But this is really the lion's share, right? They've obviously got a big, healthy brand because there's lots of people searching for it and they get a lot of direct traffic. And also, the direct traffic can come through as a result of email if they don't have URL parameters properly set up. But we won't get into that just for now. So we can see and we can confidently say that, look, the most amount of their customers right now is coming from search, because this is what's making up 31% of their traffic. And that could be driving a lot of their direct traffic as well. Then we can see what websites that they're getting the highest amount of searches from. So you can go to what you can see that they're getting a lot of traffic from Whirlpool, and there's people coming through from this. And then you could go to here and you could search for their brand, and you'd be able to find articles on that if you wanted to, and just see if there's any insights for you to go and have a look. But for now, we're not going to dive into that. So then you can have a look at these are the keywords that are driving most of this is the breakdown of their traffic, right? So the top 5 organic keywords are pretty much all brand. Well, they are all brand. And then the top paid ones are their brand, and then financial advisor and financial planner. And then we can see social, it's all coming from Twitter and Reddit, so they're definitely not running any Facebook ads. There's no need to go and look at that for now. And then also, it will give you some other of their competitors. Another great thing to kind of cross-reference with. And having a look, okay, cool, these are the other competitors, and then you can start this whole process for them. So we know that if we come to our offer mapping, that they're doing Google, and that's really about it. They've got obviously direct traffic, which everyone will have. And they don't even have really anything on the email side of things that's worth talking about. Their URLs, you can list their main website here, because we've already downloaded, or you should have already downloaded their URLs and saved them to your computer to put in there. So you've got exactly what's going on. At this stage, let's go have a look and see if there is any guarantees. And a way to do this is you can just get their URL, and then you can just put guarantee at the end of it. Capital guarantee option, let's see. Nothing on that. And it doesn't appear that they have a guarantee. Typically they do, they're going to be using it front and center. And even if we search for Google or their website, we can't find anything, right? So here, we're going to write none. There wasn't any scarcity around their phone call. What do they say their offer is worth? They don't. What are their bonuses? Nothing of that. What do you get? Offer price. Is this payment plan? No. So at this stage, this is the data that we've got on this competitor, right? And we're going to be answering this stuff in the next step. So then what we do is we go back to Google, and we can just close these guys for now. And what we will do is we'll have a look at the next one on the chopping block. Okay, so this is their website. Award-winning wealth experts. Chat with a wealth expert today. So this is their offer. And it seems like everyone's kind of going down this road of wanting to chat with you. And that's just the language that it seems the last two people that we've looked at really in terms of what they're pushing. So this company's name was Future Assist, right? So put these guys down as our second competitor. And whether or not you feel like these people are your competitor or not, like they are, because they are coming up for the keywords that people will use in order to find you if you're a financial planner, okay? So this is their offer. And then they've got, okay, so the winner, name, email, and postcode. No comments or anything, property investing, tax minimization, Grow your wealth without altering your lifestyle. So these guys are at least speaking a little bit more in the language that we would want to see. 500 plus 5-star Google reviews. Yep, that's definitely impressive. Yep. Team of experts. What do we have here? Oh no. Affordable advice, research driven. I thought this was going to be a high value content offer, but it is not. Tools to keep you on track. They've got a bunch of these guys, these wealth strategists and whatnot here. Frequently asked questions. And then that's it. So their thing is, they've got a few mixed messages. So we've got get started today, and that's have a chat with them. Having a chat, get started with the right person on your side. You can achieve your financial freedom. Take the first step today. And what else do we have? So their offer is really just get started today. Have a free chat. Request a free chat, right? So there we go. That's their offer. Let's stick it in here. Request a free chat. This is request a chat. This is request a free chat. So definitely request a free chat is better. They did not have a high value content offer. Now let's go ahead and have a look at their traffic. So again, we plug this into SEMrush and let's see what we can find. Now, just know that like with SEMrush, it doesn't always have the data. More often than not, it does. But sometimes you can see competitors that are running ads, but then when you plug them into SEMrush, there isn't anything. But we're lucky and we've got it here. So let's first of all, what we can see here is that there's definitely activity. There's both, organic SEO activity happening, and then they've been really ramping up their paid search side of things and their paid traffic on Google Ads. So the first place that we want to go is the advertising research. Now, the last person we looked at had 31 odd keywords that they were bidding on. This person has 49, and the traffic is saying 535. Traffic cost is $2,000, and you can see that it looks like that they've only really started to kind of ramp things up now. So again, these are all their keywords. Bang, let's download these puppies. Boom, get them, download them, put them in a folder, type on the competitor's name in there, and then away you go. Right now. Property Investment Australia, Financial Advisor, Melbourne. Let's have a look and see what we've got here. Let's hope that is not the page that they are sending them to. What I'm going to do is just copy this URL. I think that little button's having a freak out. Uh-oh, it does actually look like they... Oh no. So they may have updated it. This is the keyword that it's going to. It appears. Let's have a look at this. Wealth experts. And then if we have a look at this one, it looks like they used to have a page that was Financial Advice Melbourne. And if we go to their website here, Wealth Strategy. Hang on, we've got a free resources section here. Let's see, they've got something. Oh, they do. We've got a high value content offer. Somebody call the police. All right, we found one. Okay, so this person has got get your report, find the emerging hotspots. All right, so this is only for property investors. It's not for financial planners. So we can't really grade them it, right? We can't really include it on there because we're specifically talking about the financial planning side of things, and that would be that side of things. So it doesn't really give us what we need. It definitely appears that they've changed their URLs, but we already have it from clicking on one of their ads. So we can download their full list of keywords and we can see all the landing pages that we've run. We know that they've got property offers as well. So they're doing the property investments. You only want to really be looking at the things that are going to really appeal to you. Again, you want to download their landing pages and check out what's going on. Then we've got their keywords. This is their keyword growth over time. So they've been increasing the amount of keywords. This is their traffic cost. That's also been going up over time. And you can look at it like last 6 months, you can look at it the last 2 years, or you can look at it all time, however you choose. I typically like looking at over the last year. Then again, ad copy. Boom, we've got all their ads. Let's download those. And then away we go. Ad history, you can see anything on this. We can see that this kind of correlates with the other stuff that we were looking at before. Like they're ramping things up now. Pages, we can get all their pages again and see, okay, cool, these are the ones that they're running. This is what's going on. This is what's happening. I didn't mean to do that. But yeah, you can get an idea of what's going on, downloading those keywords and finding what's what. Subdomains, if they've got any subdomains, no, they don't. Let's have a look at their organic as well and see what's going on organically. So only 685 keywords as opposed to the first company that had like 20,000 plus. investment loans rate, financial advisor, Sydney. Again, you can just download all these and you can review it and see if there's anything that you're going to be able to gain from it. So there we are here. Again, we know that, let's actually go over, we've got one more thing to do, and that is to look at SimilarWeb. Let's plug them into SimilarWeb and have a look and see what's going on. Now, SimilarWeb typically needs a lot more data in order to find it. So I find that, like, yeah, a lot of the time you do get this where they can't give you the traffic overview if the website's not getting enough traffic, but it still gives you a mobile view, desktop view, and we can start to see here. So this is different. So 54% of all their traffic comes from search. So that's where 54% of their customers will be coming from. However, they've definitely got more display on there. So we'll see if we can find anything from that in a moment. Again, no referrals or any of these kind of things because it's just not enough. It looks like for their paid search that they're more aggressively going for the property investment property side of things. And then from their organic, you've got like certified financial planners and whatnot. It's just an interesting point to make. Here's something interesting. So Facebook. So it's saying here that they get 1% of their traffic from social. We will have a look and see if they're running anything on Facebook. And the way that we do that is we bring up a Google search and we simply type in Facebook ad library. Okay. Now, when you click on this, you want to be logged in and it will basically bring up the library. And what we can do here is we can just get the person's name, which is Future Assist. And if you're lucky, sometimes you can just pop it in here and you'll get what you need. Here we go. Beautiful. We got what we need. It doesn't appear that they're running any ads. And you do want to refresh this page, 2 or 3 times because you'll find sometimes that there are ads running and they do pop up when you clear that. But it doesn't look like these guys are running any Facebook ads. So again, come over here. Google, we know that they're doing. Display, they're doing. And what else did we have here? And direct. We can't get any referral sites off here. But yeah. So we'll come back to our sheet. And we've got direct here. We know the URL is Future Assist, so we'll plug this in here. Let's see if they have a guarantee. Service guarantee. Yeah, okay, so it looks like there's something here. Let's have a look. Explore our unique difference. While we offer no charge initial consultation. All right, let's see. Provide industry-leading service backed by our communication service guarantee. All right, well, we're going to find out what that is, but it doesn't sound very strong. Scarcity, none. Right, we'll just bold these. Now let's go back, so we'll close these. Now we've got, this is somebody that financial planner, it's a university and they're bidding on it, offering a post-grad financial planning. We're not going to click on that. And then we've got this one, financial planner for First Financial Melbourne. And you can also scroll down here and there'll typically be like another 3 or 4 ads down the bottom where we can also have a look at if this next person doesn't have any activity on them. So let's have a look. This is their landing page, Retire Life Ready. So this is the first one that's even got a headline of some description. At First Financial, our passion is to help Australians retire when and how they choose with confidence and certainty. Are you ready to start building wealth? Are you on the countdown to retirement? Okay, some testimonials. So they're trying to profile me in to two different things. We'll see what they do. Request a free consultation. Okay, that's their CTA. Why we are different, unique investment strategy, first financial stories and articles. Get in touch if you want to retire life ready. I don't know what that means, retiring life ready. It doesn't mean a great deal to me, to be honest. Request free consultation. So what we do here is this client's name is First Financial. We'll bold it. Now these people did not, again, it did not appear that they have any high value content offer. There's no content up for offer here, right? They just want me to speak to a salesperson immediately, which is quite a threatening offer. All right, no, they don't have any of that. Okay, so nothing. Like, do you see, like, just from doing this, that, you know, nobody is even doing the very surface level stuff that we've gone over so far. There's no one that has a high value content offer. They're just going straight for the jugular and trying to make a sale straight out the gate and to speak with a salesperson, which is just a failing strategy. Now let's have a look and see if we've got any data on them and their traffic. Okay, so from their domain analysis on these guys, let's see if we've got paid. So we've got organic search data. Do we have any paid search data? It does not appear that we do. So typically when you see somebody that's like at the very bottom like this and their ad is just so bare bones, they're probably spending very little, like maybe $1,000 a month. And typically SEMrush or any of these platforms will not bring it up if it is that little, right? So when you click on advertising research, there's no activity. There's nothing going on here. There's just not enough for them to ping up. So what we will do before we commit to including these people as a competitor, like they are definitely getting some organic traffic and some traction here. First Financial, financial management. Let's go back to Google and let's have a quick look at one or two of these people. So we'll take this one here. And all I want to know before I dive in specifically to this person is if they're going to have any other data for us to take a look at. Nope, doesn't look like there's much activity for them either. So we can just go off this people. So then taking a look at this, what else do we have here? We know from ourselves, because we've seen it, that they're doing Google. Let's see if there's any activity on SimilarWeb. I would hazard a guess we're not going to be able to find anything. Typically, the SEMrush can't find anything. You can't find anything on SimilarWeb because there's just not enough activity. Sorry, I put the wrong one in there. Let's see. Yeah, there's nothing on here, right? So we just have to look from our own means in terms of we know that they're only running essentially Google from what we can see. We know that they have some organic rankings and they do have, they are bidding on a few keywords, but we can't find out exactly what those keywords are, right? So we're just going to say Google for these guys and we can't find any of the other stuff. We know their URL, it's that. Let's see if they have a guarantee. Sorry, you have to get rid of this information at the start of the domain name in order to get it to come up. And it would help if I put G in there. Nothing, no guarantee here. take a quick look. No, nothing. And it's very typical for these people not to have any guarantees. Let's put none and nothing. There was no scarcity, right? What we will do, however, I can pretty much certain say that there's not going to be any activity on here. We'll see if they're running any ads. Oh, I am wrong. We have an ad. So this is the ad that basically that they're running on Facebook. They've got these two different ads. Gender pay gaps and lower superannuation balances partner with longer life expectancy are some of the challenges facing women in their financial future. At First Financial, we help you implement strategies to help maximize your personal wealth and secure. And we've got this lady here. Are you in control of your financial future? Then what we can do is we can click on the ad here, and we can click on the link and we can go through to the landing page. So they're running this to a women's wealth landing page. Yeah. So now we come back to this and we know that they're also running Facebook ads. Right. And you can basically take this. Where am I? Over here. And you can create a Google Sheet and just put it in there and actually download there and save this URL. What we will do is we'll go and have a look at the other ad that they're running. Worried about making investment mistakes? Do you feel like you aren't making the most out of your opportunities? Let's have a look at this one. This one is a contact us. Let's see where they're running this to. Common investment mistakes. Okay, so we've got some content here. So it looks like we've got a video.
Financial experts used to think that loan.
Yeah, so that's kind of like their little content piece, but again, they're not capturing any details or anything like that. You can save this. So what we do know about them is they're running Google ads, they're running Facebook. They don't have any guarantee or no scarcity. So this is just already like we've got a very surface level understanding of what's happening on the top. We can download all the ads. We've got their ad copy. We know exactly what's going on from that point of view. And then depending on what market that you operate in, there can be a lot more data to kind of dig through from both SimilarWeb and SEMrush and even Facebook ads. You can find sometimes people have got hundreds and hundreds of ads that are running on Facebook and whatnot, and they're running multiple different URLs. It just depends on how sophisticated that market is. But this is essentially what I've never done it for these people before. I'm just randomly picked them out of the hat, and this is basically what we've got, right? And you just never know how much data that you're going to get. You just have to go with really what you've got. And so once you've used both SEMrush and Facebook ads library tool and SimilarWeb, these are great places to, as I said, get that data and to find their URLs and to find out what they're doing. And because it's service-based businesses, typically they're not going to have their prices on their landing pages. Sometimes that they do, and they include like different packages or whatnot. But more or less, this is kind of the very first half of really diving in and seeing what the competitors are doing and what landing pages that they're sending traffic to and all of that kind of stuff. But you can see from this market that they're just not a very sophisticated crowd, and there's not a lot going on. There's no, high value content offers or funnels or webinars or anything like that. It's just like, speak with our sales team. Everybody, look at the 3 different calls to action here. Request a chat, request a free chat, and request a free consultation. They're all saying the same thing in a different way. So immediately we know that we do not want to have that as our offer. Not that we ever would, because it's just vanilla and lackluster, but immediately you get some transparency to what's going on. So let's go back here, and now what we're going to discuss is basically getting like an X-ray competitive intelligence. So what you can see, what we've just touched on, is really just the tip of the iceberg. And there's only so much information that we're able to get from just looking through what are the keywords that they're targeting on, downloading all of their ads, downloading all their landing pages, studying those, then having a look at where they're getting their traffic from, looking at their Facebook ads, downloading their Facebook ads by taking screenshots, saving the URLs. That's just just like the very top of like, what does somebody's sales funnel looks like. Now what we want to do is we want to do X-ray competitive intelligence. And the way that we do that with these companies is we're going to have to fill out those forms on their website, and we're going to have to request a free chat. And we're going to have to shop these people, and we're going to find out exactly, we're going to ask to get their proposals, and we're going to start to see what's going on. And that way we can fill out the rest of the competitor like offer mapping, where we can ask them, okay, well, how much do you guys charge? What's the rough retainer? How does it work? Do you have any other further information that you can send me? Do you have a proposal? They might try to push for a face-to-face appointment. If they do, go in and see them, right? These are the things that you need to do if you want to win. You need to operate. You need to know exactly what your competitors are saying to your prospects and your potential clients, so you can really set the criteria of what's being discussed and what's important. So you want to call them. You want to see, their whole process. From the moment that you call them, do you speak with a receptionist? Does that receptionist put you through to a member of their sales team? Do they put to someone that further qualifies you further? Do you have to book an appointment? How long does it take to book an appointment? Because that will determine, how busy they are and what the activities that they've got going on. Ask them for some information and some collateral, pricing, any testimonials that they've got, is there any information that they can give you about the services that they offer, and start to collect this stuff, right? And this is something like, you don't just fill out that form and then see what they say. You fill out the form, you call their phone number, you speak to a rep, you go into their office, you meet with them, you get pricing, you see what their sales process is like, and you map it all out, and you find out, like, based on, you're seeing at the very, very top and going, okay, this keyword, this competitor has 20,000 organic keywords, they've got 30 paid, they're getting 1.5 thousand visits from paid. Then they've also got Facebook ads. These are the landing pages that they're running. Then you fill out their form and you see what their process is like. You get their proposal, their collateral, their pricing, and all of those things. And then, and only then, do you start to begin to understand who do you think is doing very well. And who are the people that are dominating the market? Who are the people that are aggressive? Who are the most aggressive in their advertising? What offers work? What's going on? What their sales process is? And this is something that you really need to do. And most people, they're like, oh, how am I going to do that? What do you mean, how are you going to do that? You're just going to fill out their form and you're going to speak to them, right? And you might be thinking like, oh, this is dishonest, or this is a bit confrontational, or any of that stuff like that. At the end of the day, business is war, and you need to know what the enemy is doing. You need to know exactly and get the intel and find out what is going on. Why do you think all of these countries have international spies that are posted up in all of these countries and collecting intel? It's because it's incredibly important, when you go to battle. And that's what we're doing. We are going to war with these other competitors, and we want to win that war. And we want to do that by knowing them better than they know us, and by knowing exactly what's going on in that marketplace. So, that's the steps that you want to go through on this, on the X-ray competitive intelligence. Do not skip this step. You will lose if you do. You need to know, and you need to speak with their reps. You need to fill out their forms and see what the email auto reply is. You need to speak with their receptionist. You need to speak with the sales team. And then you can come back to that offer mapping spreadsheet and start to fill out their price. Do they have any scarcity? Is there any payment plans that they offer? Is it a contract? All of those kind of stuff. We want to know everything in forensic-like detail. Then the next step is what I call buying the golden pheasant. And you may guess what this is, and that means becoming an actual client or a customer, or buying some of their services, right? Or buying one of their products, or paying for a seminar, or paying for a consultation. just to understand. I'm not expecting you to create some fake company and sign up for a contract with someone. That's a little bit onerous. But I'm talking about, if they've got a paid consultation, you better pay for that and you better go and do it. And you better pretend like you are a client. If they've got any products or any books, buy those things, right? You need to shop the competition. It's an absolute vital thing to do. And not only do you need to do it to find out what their selling process is, but you need to do it to then make sure that the service that you're delivering or the product that you're selling is 10 times better than what everybody else in the marketplace is offering, right? It's just an absolute necessity, and it's definitely more difficult in a service-based business. But, typically people will have, a very low entry level. And you might be thinking, I'm going to have to pay $500 or $1,000 or $2,000 for that. What is it worth to you to be the number one player in your market? What is it worth for you to have a firm, dominant grip of all of the competition and know exactly what they're doing? And know exactly what their onboarding procedures are and how they deliver their service and how they price it and how they structure it and where they get their leads from and all of these things, right? And the answer for that is it is priceless, right? This is the intel that you need to win. So just go out there and get it, right? I don't really care if it makes you feel uncomfortable. It's a necessary step in order to win. And really, that's what I am here to help you to do. I am here to help you win, and I am help you scale your business up and really achieve things that you only ever dreamed of achieving. And in order to achieve those things that you've never achieved, you are going to need to do things that you've never done. And if this is something that you have never done, then that is a telltale sign that this is exactly the thing that you must do, right? And I'm only telling you things that I know work, right? This is just absolute golden wisdom, and you may have heard it before, you may have thought about it, you may have even toyed with the idea of doing it, but I'm telling you that you absolutely must do it. You must go out there and shop the top 3 competitors in the space, the people that are most aggressively advertising, and know exactly what it is that they're doing, getting proposals, and then looking to at least buy off 1 or 2 of them in some regard, whether it's a consultation or it's their lowest level product or it's a book or it's a seminar, whatever it is, you need to go ahead and actually buy that to really get a really intimate understanding of what's going on. And the reason that I call it buying the golden pheasant is because it's like that is the thing that's going to lay the egg for you over and over and over. And if you know exactly what's working and what's been working for your competitors, we know that some of these people have been running paid advertising for the last 10 years, right? And if somebody does that, they don't do it because they just like to spend money. They do it because it's working. And if it's working, that means that it's a combination of what they have got in terms of on their ads, in their landing pages, and then what's going on after they generate that lead, post-lead generation, and they're actually making enough money to pay for the advertising costs and then to pay for their business and all their overheads and their employees and all of their salaries. So it's a telltale sign that what they're doing is working. And then what we're going to do is we're going to find out what is working for the top 3 people, and then we're going to do something that is 10 times better than what they're doing, so we can crush them into a fine powder that just scatters in the wind, and we become the number 1 apex predator in that market, okay? And that's exactly what it takes in order to achieve that. So the resources, for this module is really that competitor offer mapping and just going through and having a look at what all the competitors are doing, mapping out their offers, running through, filling it all down. And it really, we could only do the top half of this today because the other stuff involves us getting on the telephone with these people and shopping them and buying them and getting their proposals and doing that. So you'll have to go out there and do that in your marketplace. Then once we have that, right? Then what we are going to do is this next step is when we are striking like lightning, because we're going to be really intimately understanding what everybody's doing. And then once we've intimately understood what everybody is doing, we are then going to do something that is different and that is 10 times better than what they're doing. So, for instance, we saw that these people, none of them have a high value content offer, and they're missing out on 97% of their market straight out the gate in terms of the amount of leads that they could be generating, because they're pushing everybody into a consult. But as we saw in the larger market formula, we already know that only a very small subset of that market is ever going to be ready to actually speak to a salesperson. And it's a very threatening thing, right? To have this salesperson call them up and try to sell them some stuff, as opposed to just downloading a high value content offer and reading at your own leisure and then providing some value to that marketplace. Like, hiring a financial planner is no joke. Like, you have to show these people how much money that you're making. You give them access to your accounts. You show them, what's going on in your marriage financially. Like, it's a very intimate thing. Like, to go and just ask somebody to give you that information on one of those consults straight out the gate is just a very unnatural progression. Yet that's what everybody in that marketplace is doing, and it's still working. So we want to really be standing out head and shoulders above what all of our competitors are doing. And the very first step that we do that in is, one, in our ads and having our ad copy and saying different things in all of our ad copy, which we'll be getting to later in this course. And the first thing is then, again, secondary is looking at the high value content offer and offering an offer that nobody else is doing. No one else is doing that. So the cut through that we're going to get is infinitely more. We saw that all those three competitors, they all have the same offer. It's all exactly the same. Request a free consultation, right? So then how do you stand out as somebody different when everybody's saying the same thing? Like, you do something different, you're going to get a dramatic different result, and you're going to stand out straight from the get-go. And then what we want to do, that's just the marketing piece, right? And there's a lot that we can say and that we will be saying about that and diving into. But then what you want to do, this is how you really win. This is how you really just completely get a stranglehold of your entire market, is you create a better service than all of those people, and then you market it far more aggressively than all of those people. Because then not only are you've basically got way better marketing, everything's so much better, but then you've got a way better service or a product, right, that you're selling. That's just way better than anything. And then you get more happy customers and you get more reviews than anybody. And it's like a flywheel that just spins itself, and it starts to accelerate because you're going out there, you're getting the most customers, then you're providing the best service to them, then you're getting the most reviews, and then that's going to help with your conversions, right? So it's like a flywheel, and it just adds to themselves. But what most people do is that they just look and they funnel hack what people are doing on their marketing, and then they stop there and they don't see what they're actually doing on the back end and their service delivery, and then go out there and create a way better product or service. That's really how you get a stranglehold, and that's definitely what I'm encouraging you to do. It requires work, but it's going to result in you being the dominant player in your industry. And as I said before, that is certainly something that is priceless. Now, I'll leave you with this quote by Sun Tzu: "Let your plans be dark and impenetrable as night, and when you move, fall like a thunderbolt." Right? You want to plan this stuff in private. This is not something that you want to talk about with anybody else outside of your business, or really with anyone in your business. It's something that you want to do privately, really get an firm grip of what everybody's doing, and then form your battle plan, and then just fall like a thunderbolt and attack and just dominate your market. And that, if you follow this formula and you do exactly what I'm telling you to do in this module, this is really an incredibly powerful and an incredibly profound thing to do in your business. And the results that you get for this will literally serve you for your entire business career. If you can get good at doing this, it doesn't matter what your new offers that you create or what markets that you choose to enter into, you will always dominate. So the action items for today's video is funnel hack the competition. At least pick 3 to 4 competitors, put them on your funnel, your competitors' offer map, and then basically start to speak with their sales team, right? Speak with them, get their proposals, get their collateral, attend a face-to-face meeting, see what the next step is that they're pushing for on that initial phone call, and whatever it is, do it. And then map out their offers using our competitor offer mapping spreadsheet, fill all all of that in as much detail as possible. Then also what you want to do with that is create that folder on your computer and download all of their ads, download all their landing pages, download all of the keywords that they're targeting and keep them in there for reference. And then buy their products and services, right? This is a crucial step. Do not do the top 3 without doing this. This is an absolute must. Buy their products and services and see what it is that they offer, how they deliver it. What is there a payment plan? See all of those different mechanics. A lot of this stuff you can only see by pulling out your credit card and not being afraid to spend money with your competition. People think, oh, I don't want to go and give my competitors money. Why not? Right? It's a Trojan horse that you're setting in there and then you're finding out what's going on and then you're going to win. And that's the thing that we care about. We care about winning. And then lastly is build a better product or service and an offer to what they're doing. So don't just look at the offer and don't just think I'm just going to do better marketing, but use that product or service that you bought and think, how can I make this 10 times better? Where are the holes in this? How do I plug those holes? And when you buy a few different competitors, products or services, then you really see where the gap is in your market and where you can go out and really dominate. So that pretty much brings us to the end of this module. I hope you got a lot out of it. You've got a lot of work to do, so get to work and I will see you in the next video.